Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a thriller from the USA, English language, released in the year 2020, directed by Derek Bort, and this film is called Unhinged. So Unhinged is a movie about road rage. You've got an overweight middle-aged man who's down and out, his wife left him, and he's got no hope and prospects for the future, and he's completely numb with depression. So one day he's at a traffic light in his truck, the traffic light goes green, and he doesn't move. And so the lady behind him, she's in a rush to get her son to school, so she's beeping the horn very aggressively. So when the man catches up to her later down the road, he winds down the window, he says, look, he's sorry he didn't go straight away, he's having a really bad day, and if she can just say sorry, then they can forget it all and go on with their daily life. But unfortunately she doesn't do that. She says, look, I've got nothing to apologise for, it was all your fault, if you did what you were supposed to, none of this would have happened, so can he please leave her alone? So this infuriates the man to the point where he says he's going to show her what a bad day really is, and that means terrorising her through the city in his truck, and not only targeting herself and her young son, but also her family that had nothing to do with the situation. So it's clear she is dealing with a psychopath that has completely snapped, and the terrifying fight for survival has commenced. So what happens at that point on is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Unhinged. Although this was a very generic thriller and it had a formula that you have seen time and time again, I thought the idea was very, very interesting. And the idea not only centers upon road rage, and road rage you see in the news, how people react to certain events, and you think to yourself that was completely unnecessary. And this movie does it to an extreme level, but I thought it was really interesting in the human interactions. And in today's world, everyone is in a rush. And because you're in a rush, you become so consumed in your own life that you don't really think about other people and how you react to other people. And so this movie is definitely a case of what if. Now this woman, this guy's a complete nutcase. You know, he's prone to fits of absolute violence and terror. But if she reacted in a different way, then it would have diffused the situation. And so I thought to myself, okay, this is a domino effect of, you know, someone being rude, someone infuriating someone, and it just completely escalates. And this is something that can happen in everyday life. But then you rewind it to the start, and you think to yourself, okay, if you had have been polite to this guy in the first place and used your manners and used respect, then you wouldn't be fighting for your life. You wouldn't be in terror. Your family members wouldn't be in danger. And so it's definitely a case of what if. And it makes you think about your interactions with your fellow person. Is that, okay, someone didn't go fast enough in the green light. Is it really worth escalating? Is it really worth following it up? And if someone says, I'm sorry, can you say you're sorry? It's not really a big thing. But because we're so consumed in our daily life and we don't really think about other people, they're wrong, we're not going to take responsibility, but this is how dangerous responsibility can be. If she took responsibility, this wouldn't have happened. And so that game of what if, I always thought to myself, okay, you're going through such a terrifying situation, but you should have just said sorry. It wouldn't have taken anything, but because you've got your ego and you're not going to let your guard down, you're going to say it was all your fault. I'm in a rush, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, leave me alone. But because you're not respectful in your interactions, this is the escalation that has come about. And so it's just a complete barrage of insanity. And I thought the insanity was intensified by Russell Crowe's performance. I thought he was actually quite a sympathetic character. Yes, he goes over the edge, but he's been pushed over the edge. And so it's not condoning his actions, but if this lady actually responded to him in a better way, it could have actually become a completely different story. And so on one hand, you've got a story of complete carnage, but as I said, that what if sort of element, whereas if she said sorry, she could have been just late to her son's school and she wouldn't be fighting for her life and all that kind of thing. So I thought that element to the film was very, very interesting, and it made the generic moments forgivable. And so I could overlook the generic moments because those generic moments are done very well. There are some very creepy moments. I thought there was some very good choreography in the car chases. I thought the violence was very brutal, but it's not overdone, so it's few and far between. But it is a level of suspense. Is this guy going to catch up to her, and what is he going to do? And so it's just a case of human exchange. And just because someone has done something that is a minor inconvenience, that minor inconvenience millions can turn into something quite terrifying. So I thought that was all very good. Production was great, and the continuity was fantastic. It's an action-packed sort of thriller, and that's exactly what you go into this film for. But unfortunately, as I said, there is a level of predictability because it is very generic in its storytelling. Is that, okay, the situation is spiraled out of control. I could tell who was going to die. I could tell who was going to survive, and I could tell what was going to happen to Russell Crowe's character. So Russell Crowe's character was the best part of the film because he is a villain where he has a little bit more than just black and white. He actually had that sympathetic quality. He was on the verge of completely losing it, and so this woman did contribute to moulding this villain. But I still thought as though, okay, it was a good performance. But Russell Crowe, I would have expected a character that was a little bit more in depth. Is that, okay, he does give that sympathetic quality, but it's a very vague sort of quality. This is a movie that doesn't want to be a deep and meaningful film, although it has that interesting idea that can really play on and actually makes the generic moments work. But I still thought as though it was a title movie. And what I mean by that, it's a name that you can put on a poster to draw the audience in. And when you see the film, you think, okay, that was a good performance, or it wasn't a great performance. And so really anyone could have played this role to a level where I thought it would have worked, but because it's Russell Crowe, he puts a lot of effort into his performances, and it is a fairly serviceable performance in what was a serviceable thriller. So it is generic, it is predictable, but I thought the idea of the road rage and the idea of, human interactions was what made the film worth watching. And so for that, I would definitely say a Friday night type of movie with a group of friends, some popcorn and beer, and I'm pretty sure that you could do a lot worse. So overall for Unhinged, I like this more than I thought I would. I'm going to give this one 3 stars. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.